Hello, my name is Fredrik, and I will lead you through this video presentation today. I will talk about the Aborigines, and I will talk about history, culture, the stolen generations, and today's society. The history. Aborigines are Australia's indigenous people. Recent government statistics counted approximately 400,000 Aboriginal people, or about 2% of Australia's total population. Australian Aborigines migrated from somewhere in Asia at least 30,000 years ago. Though they comprise 500 to 600 distinct groups, Aboriginal people possess some unifying links. Among these are strong spiritual beliefs that tie them to the land, a tribal culture of storytelling and art, and, like other indigenous populations, a difficult colonial history. Culture. Australian Aboriginal culture varies throughout the continent, and people from different regions have different languages, weaponry, utensils, tools, basketry, and art styles, ceremonial dress, and beliefs in their ancestral beings. Since the visitation of Macassan or northern Australian shores after 700 AD and later European colonization in 1788, Aboriginal culture has developed and changed. Aboriginal Australians' culture includes a number of practices and ceremonies centered on a belief in the dream time. Reverence for the land and oral traditions are emphasized. Language groupings and tribal divisions exhibit a range of individual cultures. Australian Aboriginal art has existed for thousands of years and ranges from ancient rock art to modern watercolor landscapes. Aboriginal music has developed a number of unique instruments. Contemporary Australian Aboriginal music is predominantly of the country music genres. Indigenous Australians did not develop a system of writing. The stolen generations. The stolen generation, also known as the stolen children, were the children of Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent who were removed from their families by Australian federal and state government agencies and church missions. Under acts of their respective parliaments, the removals of those referred as half-caste children were conducted in the period between approximately 1905 and 1967, although in some places mixed-race children were still being taken into the 1970s. Official government estimates are that in certain regions between 1 in 10 and 1 in 3 Indigenous Australian children were forcibly taken from their families and communities between 1910 and 1970. Today's society. Aboriginal nowadays are now westernized. Some Aboriginals still live in remote areas and still practice some of their traditional ways of life, but these groups are scarce. Most Aboriginal life in cities or former church mission sites. There are many issues facing Aboriginals these days, including poverty and low income, poor education, poor access to medical assistance in rural areas, drug, alcohol, and smoking abuse, exposure to violence, racial abuse, and cultural differences. We also see a number of social pressures among these.